Okay, so I completely forgot to film any of this, so I'm sorry for that. But what I've been doing over the past little while is I've been repairing a violin or a fiddle or whatever you want to call it. I have it sitting here. This is it, and it's a lovely little thing. But I fixed more or less this whole thing all on my own. When I got this, the neck was not attached to the body. The bridge needed filing down. The tailpiece was actually in pretty good condition. I have a second one sitting over there. You can see it. Just there. Um, all of this came from a family friend's dad's old workshop. He's dead now, but he left a ton of gear in his workshop that he hadn't used. So I did have some tools for this one, some specialist tools, which I don't usually have. Let me show you. Here, these are violin post setting tools. So on the inside of the violin, there's this little strut. You can kind of see it in there, and that basically braces the machine against the tension of the strings. So what I had to do with these was I stabbed that post on the end of this, managed to maneuver it into the violin, hooked it on, and then kind of jammed it in there more or less. And then I took the other end of this. I think I actually used this one, which is slightly more rounded, and I basically like pushed it into place to make sure that it was properly stuck in there and bracing the thing. After that, so these are the original friction pegs, and as you can see, there are no fine tuners on this. For those of you who don't play violin or don't know how violins work, basically, because violin makers are fucking idiots who are living in the fucking 1800s, they use these called friction pegs, which you basically just jam um, into the headstock of the violin. You're supposed to just jam them in there as hard as you can, and they hold. Um, at least that's the theory. So it's really, really hard to get a good tuning on these, and they don't hold the tuning very well. So most violins will have little gears here attached to levers here that will tension or detension the strings, um, so that you can get like a fine tune on it. That's what they're called, fine tuners. Um, Basically, it's so that you can do the rest of the work that these guys can't pull their weight for. So I took them off. I went into town. I got myself some old guitar tuners. I had to widen this hole here. I used this thing to do that. Just stuck it in and twisted it, and the grooves on this widened that hole for me. And then, yeah, I basically set all these in and lined them up. And then I used, what did I use? I used a file. Yeah, this file. I used this file, which I also got in that box of tools, to file down, the um, tuning machines. You can see here, there's a little dip there, and especially on this one, there's a pretty big dip there. So I did that to let the other ends of the tuning machines coming in from the other side fit. And now I have guitar tuners on here, and it's just much, much more pleasant to try and tune. After that, I glued the neck back on, which took a while to let the glue set, but otherwise it was okay. They married up pretty well, but you can see that there is a little bit of a difference right here, which you ideally wouldn't have, but fuck it, it's good enough. And then I modified this bridge. So when I got this bridge, it was about yay high, about up to here. It had a ton of extra material on it, and you can see that I did actually cut grooves in this, but then I moved the strings because the grooves that I cut were kind of shit. Um, so yeah, but what was I saying? Right, so it had a ton of extra material on it, and I had to use these rasps and files, which I also got in this box of shit, to file that down into a much smaller kind of shape. You can also see on the on this foot here, that one right here, it has like a curve in it because I had originally filed it to match the curve of the instrument, but then I flipped it around. So the lettering on here had originally been facing this way, but I found that it worked better if I flip it around like this, so that the feet are a little bit off. Anyway, I did that, glued everything together, restrung the thing, and it's been working okay since then. Now all I need is a chin stock, and I have myself a new violin. So yeah, I guess my point here, I guess my point, as always, is that everything is just made of materials. If I can do this with no experience, then so can you. Now, to be fair, this time I did need like specialist tools, but you can figure something out on your own. I can't play violin, but I'm gonna be learning now. Ooh. That wasn't too bad. Anyway, everything is just made of materials. You can influence the world however you feel like. If you have the right tools for it, you can accomplish absolutely anything. And a lot of the time, as you've seen in some of my past videos, you don't even need the right tools for it. Oh, actually, one thing that I did forget to mention here. Since these were guitar tuners, they have holes like up here on them posts. You can kind of see it there. If I hold this like this, right in here, you can kind of see that there's a hole there. Oh, focus. Yeah, you see that hole right there? So I did have to drill new holes in the middle of these, and I did go through and like damage the headstock. You can see here, that's one of mine. It went through this hole and into there, and then in there behind the strings, that's another, and then right there as well, and there's another one hiding behind that little guy in there. But yeah, just make shit, do your own shit, enjoy life.